Hey everybody, welcome back, and we're going to take a look at Tron's kit. We're going to go through, see his abilities, see his talents, and let's just see what he looks like generally. Apologise for the delay in the video. As a lot of you may know, it took longer for the update to hit Android this time. iOS people, you'll already know what he's like, so this is mainly for all the Android people and the people that subscribe who want to know my opinion. So jumping right in, we have core ability, Identity Discs. Tron's heavy attack deals 150% damage and ricochets to hit multiple enemies, so kind of like a goofy mechanic there. On basic attacks, Tron has a 50% chance to gain a 20% focus buff for 8 seconds, stacks twice. Heavy attack, criticals apply a minus 10% defense debuff for 10 seconds, max stacks at 4, so that's minus 40. Pretty useful. Special ability, Bit Swarm. 15-second cooldown, that's quite long. Tron releases a swarm of bits dealing 300% damage to all enemies. Each enemy takes an additional 50% damage for each attribute debuff on them, max stacks 5. So each enemy could possibly take 250% damage extra on top of the 300, which seems pretty crazy, and it seems very, very high. All allies are cleansed of one attribute debuff. That's pretty weak, but it's better than nothing, I guess. It's just a little thing to his kit. So the signature ability, as always, 4-star unlocks and above, network protection protocols. This is maxed out, so the starting value will be lower. If a hit from Tron's heavy attack is not critical, all ricochet hits from that heavy attack have a 50% critical chance. So let's go over that again. If a hit from Tron's heavy attack is not critical, all ricochet hits from that heavy attack have a plus 50% critical chance. Okay, so if it doesn't strike first time and it's not critical and it bounces back, or if it bounces to the next person, then it's got half on top. That makes sense. When Tron is the only Guardian in combat, he gains plus 10% attack buff and heavy attack and has a 50% chance to inflict knockback on enemy targets. So if he's last man standing, he gets buffs plus 50% chance to knock back enemies. That was that simplified. Whilst we're here actually, before we go into the talents, we'll look at his bio. So we have medium and we have high tech. I guess it makes sense. I mean, he looks kind of tall there. He might not look that tall in screen, but I mean, we'll see. Okay, so moving on to the talents, we have software upgrade, which is the attack one, and this one should be focus. Yep. Pretty basic. So here are the main talents. This is what makes Tron unique. Advanced threat detection. Each time an enemy appears, they are inflicted with a minus 20% defense debuff, so that will be lower. All these talents values will be lower. So basically, each time an enemy appears, they will be inflicted with a defense debuff for the encounter. So they're already coming in weakened, which is very unique, and I can see Tron being kind of great for a ranged unit. Okay, so the next one is threat containment. Increases the duration of shocks and attribute debuffs by 4 seconds for Tron and his allies. Okay, so if you manage to put a wound, freeze, anything else of the attribute debuffs, it increases that duration. So I'm thinking if you pair him with somebody that has roots, maybe like Judy, then damn, that's going to be crazy. Next up we have security firewall. Tron's special ability has a 100% chance to stun for 1.5 seconds, grants 10% defense buff to all high-tech allies at the start of the encounter. Okay, so if you're looking for high-tech synergy, comparing with heroes, that's going to work out very nicely. Maybe add another one in, maybe like Sully, even a Mike, just to boost everybody up. I mean, we're kind of seeing a lot of high-tech synergies coming up recently now. So another great person for the high-tech tower. And last but certainly not least, Identity Disc Update. This is his elite talent. Increases the duration and strength of the focus buff from Tron's core ability by 50%. After a dash, increase the max ricochet limit of Tron's heavies by 1 for 5 seconds. So the max ricochet is 4. Okay, so there's quite a little bit to unpack. He seems very orientated around alternating between his commons and his basics to get those ricochets in. The defense debuffs, and I mean, as soon as somebody comes in on the enemies, then they're already coming in weak. He's got that minor cleanse. He has The bit swarms, it's 15 seconds cooldown, but the enemy, the damage multiplier is pretty crazy right there. The max stack's on 5, so that equals another 250. And then yeah, he also has the knockback chance if he's on his own, so he has a little bit of sustainability. All in all, I think he's going to be one of the better ranged units, to be fair. And I mean, we have to see how he plays out. If we're looking at his stacks there, his focus isn't that great. It's maybe just a little bit under the mid. Max ranges usually have at least 10k plus, so I'm not looking too hot on that one. The damage is about right, but since he's got high tech and you can synergize that with hero, he's going to go a little bit crazy, I'd say. So yeah, all in all, I would say B tier, maybe A tier, depending on how he plays. I mean, he might have more damage than Judy. He doesn't have more focus, or maybe utility like with the roots and that. But he's definitely one to keep an eye on. He certainly looks fun. Also, it's about time we had a new range guardian. It's been quite a while, so I'm actually looking forward to unlocking him, playtesting him, and I really want to see what his special ability looks like. I bet it's really cool. Well, until next time, guys, the next video you'll probably see from me, unless anything random and cool pops up, it will likely be playtesting this guy. So stay tuned and don't forget, take it easy now.